Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Monday, Mafia Monday. We're in the office. I got the laptop fired up. Let's pick up where we left off in our novel. We're going scene by scene through all three books that I wrote about the Los Angeles Syndicate. We're starting with the first book, California Gangsters. Young Simon has joined the Mafia. He's been committing murders. He's starting his own crew. The LA family has got themselves in a bunch of trouble with the feds, so Simon took off to Las Vegas to go commit another murder, but this is for the Syndicate. You can go and watch the past videos. We do this every Monday and catch up. Simon got shot in his last hit. There was a shootout between bikers and police out in front of a Las Vegas hotel. And one of the bullets went through Simon's leg. He found help, miraculously. And this guy, John, took him down to the tunnels, the Vegas tunnels. Anybody out there in Las Vegas, you know about the tunnels. You better stay out of there. Tunnels are no place for you to be. Simon's down in the tunnels with John. And let's pick up where we left off. Mafia Monday. Oh, I got Mr. Snubby ready to rock and roll, loaded as usual. An unloaded gun is just a paperweight. He looked at me with a serious gaze from across the candlelit room and asked, "So, how did you get shot anyways?" I replied, "I think it was a cop, but it could have been one of those crazy bikers. I was being careless and sloppy. I guess this is just one of the hazards of my occupation. I'm trying to get out of this gig and move into something a little safer, with better benefits, if you know what I mean." John said, "Are you some sort of 1% biker? I know a few of the Hells Angels." I replied, "No. I was working with those guys to create a diversion so I could do a hit on a snitch." John put up his hand like a stop sign and said, "Stop right there. I do not want to get caught up in any mafia shit. I won't pry any further into your life." I laughed and replied, "I don't mean to frighten you. Like I said, I'm trying to get into legit business and stop this kind of stuff." John nodded as if he knew my whole life story already. He said, "Always remember this lesson. Your life is about choice. I do not blame anyone for being down here living like a bum in the sewer. It was my choice to become a dopehead. You can choose anything you want. It's a big planet, and you're a big, powerful man, it looks like. Do not be afraid to make your own way in this world, even if it means living alone down in a dark tunnel. It is time for me to hit the sack. You can sleep on the guest bed over there. You're safe here. Nobody's going to find you. This is what we call off-the-grid living. Feel free to stay for as long as you need, Simon." He blew out most of the candles around his underground apartment, leaving one lit for me in the living room area. He had an old sofa that was moldy and damp. However, with Fritz by my side, purring in my ear, I slept like a baby. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I began dreaming of Jennifer Wilson. John was nice enough to cover me with a blanket, and he patted his cat on the head, who gave a meow in return. He retired to his little mattress mountain high on the stack of wooden pallets in the back of the tunnel, leaving me to my slumber down below. I slept all through the night without waking up. John woke up early. Probably he was still on military time, and he had coffee made. I could smell the strong aroma as I opened my eyes, and it made me happy. Noticing my movement, John said, "Well, good morning, my friend. I'm glad to see you're up and looking rested. Wow, you sure look a lot better today than you did last night. I let you sleep in a little bit. Hope you don't mind." I gladly took the coffee he handed me, taking a long sip, and then set it down on the wooden table in front of the sofa. I felt refreshed and alive. I survived the night and felt ready to get back to my life. I looked down at my leg with the blood stain on my pants and laughed to myself. I took a sip of the hot coffee and said, "Walk me out to my car. I want to give you something for all this trouble. You helped me. Now it's time for me to help you." John replied, "Sure thing, Simon. You want to go for a walk, Fritzy boy?" Mr. Fritz looked up at John like he understood every word and gave a long meow in response. I sucked down my coffee in 2 large gulps and then set the dirty cup in his makeshift sink next to some other dishes. As I stood up, my leg reminded me why I was down there. I was sore, but felt better than most days after practice at USC. I walked down the long, dark tunnel with the cat leading our way like a royal scout. Every so often, Mr. Fritz would stop to look back at our progress and give a loud meow. When we reached the exit, the bright sunlight blinded me. I rubbed my eyes for a minute, trying to regain my sight. When I finally did, I was happy to see my white Cadillac peeking through the bushes off in the distance. I patted Mr. Fritz on his big fat head and said goodbye and walked over to my car. John helped me brush off the branches that were keeping it camouflaged. I opened the passenger door and popped open the glove box. I pulled out the cash inside, which was a lot, and handed most of it to John. I said, "That's at least 45, maybe 50 grand right there. I always keep a glove box full of cash, just in case I need it. Good luck, John. I hope we run into each other again someday, only under better circumstances." John stood staring at the mountain of money in his hands with his jaw at his feet. He replied, "I don't know what to say, man. You better leave because I'm going to cry. Simon, you're a really good dude. I promise you that I will use this second chance well. Thank you for this." I said, "You saved my life and kept me from getting picked up by the cops. I thank you. The LA family thanks you. The syndicate thanks you as well." John replied with a stunned whisper, "The syndicate?" I jumped into my car and started it up. I found a good radio station playing Led Zeppelin, Ramble On, and tossed on my sunglasses. I fixed my hair in the mirror, popped my collar, and sped off. The caddy was kicking up the desert dust behind me as I drove back to the main road. I flew onto the pavement, spinning my wheels, and I headed back to my hotel. All right, let's stop there, and we will pick up the next chapter, which is, chapter 16. We're going to do chapter 16 next time. Thanks for watching.